My name is James. I'm with Icon Sign Company, and I'm going to show you how to put together this riot shield with these vinyl letters here. It's not very complicated at all. You just have to have the right technique, and it should be easy from there. But what we're going to do is we're going to start out. I've got the graphic here already. It's got a mask over top of it, and the vinyl are just individual letters underneath the mask. And I'm going to put it on the shield, and just give it in the approximate center of the shield, and just tape it down. And then I'm going to get a measuring tape and make sure that it's in the spot that I want it. And if you look closely right here, the bottom of the shield is not very consistent. It kind of goes up and down, and you don't want to measure off the bottom of the shield, because if you do, you're not going to get an accurate measurement. So what I'm going to do first is just take some tape and make a little straight line going off of these bolts, because these are probably straight, and the bottom of the shield is probably not straight. So I'm going to take this and hold it tightly and just kind of line it up with the two bolts. That way, that line is straight with the bottom of the shield, and I can measure from the bottom of the letters to that line, and it should be straight. So take my measurement tape, about 6.5 and 6 1/4. So I'm going to bump it up on the right side 1/4 inch. 6.5. 6.5, and then I'm just going to double check and make sure I got it somewhere in the middle of the center. 3 1/4 and 3 1/4. So it's in the center. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put what's called a hinge down the center of the graphic, and that's just going to keep it steady while I actually apply it. Just take a long piece of masking tape and set it right through the center of the graphic. Make sure that you stick the tape to the shield as good as you can, because the surface isn't very sticky, so you have to. It could pull up on you if you don't make sure that the tape is nicely adhered. You can start with whatever side that you want. I'm going to start with the left side. Take it, pull the masking off the backing paper like this, and you'll see that the letters are all individually cut away from the paper. You take scissors and just try to cut it straight as you can. Now that you've got it away, you can just kind of take the graphic over here and apply it. Try not to get any wrinkles as you go, but it shouldn't be too hard. And then you're going to want to put some pressure on it, because if you don't, just like the tape, it will come off fairly easily at first. Pull the masking tape off, pull the other side off, and then you can fold the graphic back and peel the rest of the backing paper. If you have the backing paper removed off the first side, you can go ahead and start on the second side. I'm going to apply it just the same way that I did. Just kind of get it in the area and stick the actual letters down as firmly as you possibly can. Try not to miss any areas and try not to wrinkle it. You'll see the texture of the shield come through as when you start pushing harder on it. Now you can try to take the mask off. I might put a little bit more pressure on the actual letters before I take the mask off. The mask is trying to bring them up, but they should stay down. All we need to do at this point is get them in there, get them close to where they're going to end up, because the heat gun is going to help us secure the letters. So you just want to go through real slow. This is giving me quite a bit of trouble pulling it up, so I'm actually going to give this a little bit of heat before I go any further, just so the letters will stick a little bit more. You don't want to give it too much heat, because you can probably burn the paper pretty easily, but you want to heat up the letters, because the adhesive will be heat activated. The more heat, the better, probably. Once you get it nice and hot, you can take your brush and you can just push down on the letters through the mask, and that'll help adhere them. I'm going to concentrate on the smaller ones probably more, because they're thinner and less adhesive. Give the little ones a little bit more heat. then we can try to pull the mask back again and see if it works better. Looks like the letters are still trying to come up with the mask. Might need a little bit more heat yet. I'm just going really slowly and making sure that I'm not taking any of the letter with me as I pull the mask off. Okay, once you have all the mask off, you can start heating it up and pushing it down for the final adhesion. And first things first, I'm going to take the heat gun, again, after the mask is off, I'm going to just heat it up. And I'm going to probably do like a quarter of it at a time so the heat stays with the vinyl. If you heat the whole thing up, this side's going to be cold before you're done. It doesn't stick with the heat too much, so I'm going to just heat up a quarter of it or so. And then take my apple applier and just push down on it. It'll get into all of those little grooves. You'll see the vinyl start to take shape of the shield. Okay. Okay, and if you look closely at the difference between the O and the L, the O I have not applied yet, and the L is pretty pressed into those grooves. So that was probably done, but you want to make sure that you don't leave any spaces that look like this, because it'll be more likely to peel off in the future. So I'm going to go through and keep going. I'm using quite a bit of force when I push down. Okay, and you want to check and make sure that there's nothing sticking up at this point. Just lightly run your fingers over it and make sure you don't get grabbed by anything. And then we can heat up the entire thing once more. One more time, just to make sure that everything is good. You can blast it with heat at this point because nothing is going to burn, it's just going to activate the adhesive. So just get really close to it. Make sure you give it consistent heat. And that'll do it. Take the tape off. And here you go.